we're finally underway.
Finally! Yeah!
We got a little taste of this last year when we launched for our sea trial, but this time is the real deal. Like, we're not taking the boat back out of the water for the foreseeable future. And we've got an entire ocean in front of us, and now we have to decide which way we're going to turn and which adventure we're going to choose.
Look at all that pristine lumber, eh? Could build a shed? Wow!
This is very alarming.
Canadian lumber. Here we go.
So we are currently on the west coast of Canada, and when you look at a map of this Pacific coast, it's just an absolute labyrinth of little islands and inlets that cut really deep into the mainland. There's so much to explore here. Like, everyone you meet who has sailed the coast here says that you can spend a lifetime sailing this coast and still not see everything. And so, while I don't think we're going to spend a lifetime sailing this coast because we are going to head to other destinations, this year we are going to go north and explore this absolutely gorgeous coastline. Last season, we went up Princess Louisa Inlet, and we made 2 episodes about that, and I think those 2 episodes are some of my favorite that we've ever done.
I just can't stop pointing the camera at everything.
It was just such a raw and wild and spectacular place. It's one of those places that feels too large and too grand to be believed.
And yet, it is just around the corner from Vancouver, so that only puts it into perspective of how much more there is just like it, if not even wilder. That really gives a really good taste for what's to come.
So essentially, the goal is to chase that feeling. Princess Louisa is only just the beginning. So we're going to probably be staying in Canada this year. You know, the goal for many sailors on this coast is to make their way to Alaska, but I think the BC coast here really has a lot to offer. And if you just hightail your way up to Alaska, then you miss sort of these indentations in the coast. And not a ton of people explore all of these inlets because a lot of people are going with the idea of, you know, getting to a destination, and sort of doing these doglegs inland doesn't always help you get to your destination.
Yeah, you all know our motto by now. It is big jumps to go from country to country, but once we are in a new country, the motto is around the world as slowly as possible. So one anchorage at a time is the plan.
And in terms of the videos, I cannot wait to make these videos. We have the new zoom lens so that hopefully I can capture some of the wildlife that we encounter in a little bit more detail. And another really big thing that I've invested in this year is sound recording. I've actually got it right here. So this is my new sound recording setup, stereo microphones. And so the idea is that in some of these places, I really want to record the sound of being there and to bring you into the environment in as immersive a way as possible. It's the gentle waves in the calm anchorages and the animals on shore and the wind rustling through the evergreens. Like, there's a very specific soundscape, and I think that to really experience this coastline in as much reality as possible while still being on a screen, that's a big part that I'm excited to bring to these videos this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just the amount of life here is pretty incredible, and we shall go explore it above water and below water.
Yes.
That is some of my goals. I'm really excited about diving. I'm a wimp when it comes to cold water, but I purchased a wetsuit, and so I have a couple of goals. Would be really neat to explore the underwater world as well. Yeah. Since many of you may know Jacques Cousteau, and he said this is some of the best diving on the planet. So, yeah.
Before we head up north, we've got 2 episodes to share with you before the proper journey of the year begins. The first episode, you might notice that we have set off from the boatyard without sails on the boat, and that's because we actually are getting our sails delivered to Gabriola Island. The reason for that is we cut it a bit fine with ordering the sails, and so we knew that they probably wouldn't be ready by the time we were ready to leave the boatyard. So instead of sort of forcing ourselves to hang around the boatyard until they arrived, got them shipped to Gabriola Island, and while we're on Gabriola, our friend Simon is going to help us with some canvas projects. So we're getting a new cushion made for our saloon, which is a really exciting modification that we'll show you in the next episode. And then we're also going to get a pattern taken for a new Dodger. So our Dodger is fairly old. It came with the boat, so it's going to be nice to sort of update both the design and the actual, thing
Look.
itself.
Yeah.
And then plus, once our sails arrive, we have to outfit the boat with sails and test those out. Which brings us to the second episode that we'll share before we start heading north, and that is a really close friend of mine. Her name is actually also Maya, and she's also a sailor and a musician. She has organized a very mini little music tour for us of the Gulf Islands. So she's going to come sailing with us. We're going to sail around to some of the Gulf Islands, testing out the new sails, getting familiar with the boat. Her and I will play some little concerts along the way, which is going to be really, really fun. And then once that is all wrapped up, it's time to start heading north. And we're going to be sailing with some really wonderful friends of ours, Allison and James. Talk about an entrance, you guys!
Hello!
If you're familiar with the BC coast, you probably have heard of Allison and James. They make incredible videos about this coastline on board their little boat. They are really the epitome of like, go small, go now. They've got this Catalina 30, but they've sailed it all the way up to Alaska. They're just such cool people. So really thrilled that we get to share our summertime adventures with them as well.
Yeah, can't wait. Let's go!
Let's go! So, to Gabriola Island now, get a little bit more boat work done, but it'll be the fun kind, it'll be the finishing kind. And then a little music tour of the Gulf Islands, test out the boat, test out the sails, and then off we go. The northern adventures begin. I'm so excited to be at this point. I feel like just so much happiness is kind of returning and filling my soul to be out doing what I love to do. And especially in this place, because I do think that this Pacific Canadian coastline, although it's not on the main cruising route of the world, is one of the most beautiful and remote and raw and wild, and it's a really special place. And I think I feel really excited to try to share it with you in the way that I see it, which is imbued with this sense of magic and awe. Tell you that I'm falling. Well, I fell today. the swell moves water off of Mexico, and there's hell to pay if I stay. I wish you well, so well. I promise not to dwell too long on things I could not say. And there's the swell, it moves across the world, and it's strong, it moves me away. So, we'll see you next Friday. Huge thank you, everyone, for helping us to get to this point. The refit was a long one, and we are really grateful that you stuck with us. A really big extra thanks to the folks whose names are now appearing on screen, and as always, a huge thank you to all of our patrons for making this possible. We absolutely could not do this without you, and we are really, really grateful. If you're interested in real-time updates from our northern voyage, Patreon is the place for those. So every single week, I write a sort of logbook account of where we are and what we're doing, and yeah, that's the way to know where we are in real time. I've also been updating our Instagram account a bit lately, not necessarily with the voyage, but just with photos of the boat and stuff, since the refit's now done, and it's kind of fun to take photos of the boat looking her best. So Instagram, Sailing Magic Carpet. I wasn't updating it kind of at all during the refit, but it's definitely taking off a little bit now. All right, with that, next Friday. See you then.
Bye.